I know you can hear me. Just not quite ready to make an appearance. We're going to wait for a guest. So we're waiting for our guest. He's going to be hitting the button in a minute. I'm still under the weather, but I've taken a little bit of the nasal spray to help me. Hey, Bloom. Hey, Songahan. How are you guys? I did not expect to hit the... there he is. Michael, how are you?
Eric, how are you?
I'm a little under the weather, but I've been really looking forward to this conversation, so I didn't want to miss it.
That's great. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I really appreciate you being here. You have, man, your writing has really spoken to me in a way that I've missed for a long time. You have, I've mentioned to some guests that in the last couple months, I've been having conversations with an imaginary Kenneth Wapnick in my head. And he's making literally course corrections as I go along. If I find myself mulling over a problem, he lets me know that I'm spending too much time with content and need to go to the source, that I need to quit messing around with behaviors and rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic and go back to the actual source. And your writings really correspond well with my own inner imaginary Kenneth Wapnick. So there's a lot I want to talk about. But first off, how'd you come across the course?
All right. So, by the way, if you catch me looking down, that's because I've got my laptop open in front of me. So I'm just having a scroll.
Sure.
The course. So it will be 7 years in January since I first read The Disappearance of the Universe. Now that came about a month after Revelation. So I had Revelation experience in about November 2018. And that was on the back of a very long and dark period in my life. I had a school friend, who died very suddenly in a motorbike accident in March 2017, and then I just found myself just being guided on the path since probably May, June of 2017, and then eventually found the course.
Now, you came to Gary Renard before the course?
I did, yes.
How did, in review, you think that was pretty helpful?
Without the Disappearance of the Universe, there's no way I would have understood A Course in Miracles.
I can relate.
Yeah, no way.
I picked up the course in the early 90s. And
wow.
I didn't finish the workbook until 2007.
Wow.
I kept putting it aside. And what prompted me to dive in and say, okay, now I know why I'm doing the course, was Disappearance of the Universe.
Yeah, that's the feeling that I have too. So between The Disappearance and then all of his other books, I found myself really, really going back to to all of them for quite a long time, and I still do. I still do. I think I put a post last night, just before I went to bed, from the lifetimes when Jesus and Buddha knew each other.
I just finished that, by the way.
Yeah, it's a great book. It's a really good book. So I still read them. I still revert back to them a lot.
So I know Gary himself said that he believes, and others believe this as well, that disappearance of the universe can save you 20 years course study.
Yeah, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Absolutely.
This is where we're going to dive into the thorny issues of things. Why is
Let's
it
go.
important that the course be viewed and practiced as a non-dual path?
Because of what the course is saying, because of the metaphysics of the course. There is no world. God did not create the world. You don't exist. I don't exist. Nothing here matters. Nothing here is real. So based on what the course is saying, we can clearly see that, at times it even goes beyond non-dualism. It goes straight to pure non-dualism. So, for me, it's quite easy to see that. I know Ken spoke about it a lot. Art and Persa, they speak about it a lot too. So for me, it's very straightforward. It's that's what the course is saying. Only what God creates is real. Nothing else is real. The world was made as an attack on God. All of these non-dual statements are very clear. That's what the course is saying.
Why do you think it's so difficult, if not maybe impossible, for even some long-term course students and teachers to defute that and to, it's not a non-dual path, that it is and then there's a host of other presentations that they say it's this, it's that, it's whatever.
Yeah.
But
so go on.
No, go ahead.
I think it's just the ego's grip on the mind. It's the ego is so strong, and there is so much resistance to the message of the course that we will do anything really to have this world be real, to have what we do here be important. So it's resistance. I think that's the big word for me. A lot of resistance, unconscious resistance.
Which is odd when you consider we picked up the course because I think there was some inkling, some inner prompt that was telling us this can't be real. This, to be sort of blunt, this sucks too much to be real. And so you would think we'd be more open to the thought, to the metaphysics. And we would see that resistance maybe.
Yeah, look, it's hard to comment. I can only comment on myself and how I sort of feel and my own path. But for me, it was very clear. It's super clear. Others don't see it that way. I can't comment on why that is. But like I said, for me, it's very clear.
What So what's the importance of it, of seeing it that way?
Well, I think it's the whole foundation for what the course is saying. Without especially without the metaphysics, it's not a course in miracles for me. It's something else. It's an all or nothing course. I think I've heard quite a few people say that. You can believe this course entirely or not at all. I believe it entirely. For me, it's like I said, it's very, very clear, very clear.
So maybe we could say it would be the difference between a very important self-help book and a extremely powerful path of liberation. That you certainly could use the course as self-help, and you would be better served for having studied it. But if you truly want to be liberated, you need a deep dive into metaphysics.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more with what you said there. The course could be used as a great self-help book, but that's not the purpose of it. You know, the purpose is to awaken from the dream. The course is very clear on that, and it will take you all the way home if you allow it, basically. Um, so yeah, I mean, it could be used as it is seen as a very it is seen by some as a very good self help book, um, but you know, once you really understand the metaphysics, you'll see that, you know, there is no self that needs help, and you
So,
know, that's where freedom is.
um, how are you with answering some questions from the chat?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, we got our first one. I'm going to go ahead and hit it to help me. This is from Kat, and Kat and Jack. She is a course student.
Cool.
What has been a major wow experience you have had practicing the course?
Okay, so the greatest experience I have had in my life was before before A Course in Miracles came into my life. I mentioned briefly earlier that um, about a month before I read The Disappearance of the Universe, I had what the course calls revelation. So uh, right at the beginning of the text, after the 50 miracle principles, um, section 2 is revelation, time, and miracles. And in that section, Jesus talks about revelation. Now, that is by far the most amazing experience I personally have ever had. Um, it was 5 days of extremely, extremely intense peace and joy. Um, it was so intense that I basically struggled to speak. And after about 5 days, it started to wear off, and the after effects lasted for months and months and months. So that is by far the best experience I've had with the course. It's you know, the most amazing experience I've had in my life. Um, and looking back now, I can see why I had that experience when I did. Um, you know, as a sign of encouragement, as a sort of preview of what the ending could look like if I learn my lessons. So that's by far the best experience I've had.
So, how progress report on your
Uh,
lessons? How are you doing?
Look, I'm doing okay. Of course, there are many lessons many opportunities, I should say, throughout the day. Um, I still I still live at home with mum and two sisters, so there's a lot. There's a there's there's a lot that comes up throughout the day. So I mean, I'm in my early 30s. I love my alone time. Being the only man in the house, it's a little bit hard to find that alone time now, especially with three women. But um, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just stepping into. Um, so I'm currently not working, and I'm just stepping into um, the next stage of my life, I believe. There's a book. I've got a book coming out in about a month or two, and we'll see where that takes me and what happens with that.
I want to mention, by the way, that Michael also is doing one-on-one guidance with people.
Yep.
If you are struggling with the course, if you're curious about the course, if you just want a companion to sort of bounce things off of, Michael is there, available. Is your book going to be available on Amazon?
The book will be on Amazon, yes.
All right. You already got a customer.
Beautiful.
And feel free. Use my Facebook page, use my channel, promote all of your work. Anything that I can do to, I honestly do my best to live the prayer that I am here to be truly helpful.
Thank you so much.
Sure. 2002, struggling with the course, I was doing some studies at the Self-Realization Fellowship, Paramahansa Yogananda's, one of his outlet schools in my area. I was attending some Buddhist meetings, and I was having coffee with a friend that I went to these events with. And he asked me sort of out of the blue, so what is it? What's our path that takes us all the way home? And without hesitation, and I don't know where it came from, I said, for me, it's A Course in Miracles. And he sort of laughed. He's like, are you even sticking with it right now? And I was like, well, I'm on a little sabbatical, but I know without a doubt, this is my path. And I very much needed Disappearance of the Universe when it finally came to me, because all the previous people have asked me, did you struggle because you didn't understand it? And I think I struggled because I understood it very well. And I did not want to let go. I did not, my ego said, nope, the universe might disappear, but you're not going to. And it's an amazing, amazing work. I can see, the terms unapologetic and uncompromising might not be a compliment in certain circles. But here, as applied to you, you are very uncompromising in your message.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, but that's what's coming through at the moment. I'm seeing a lot of different interpretations about what the course is saying, which everybody, of course, is entitled to. But again, for me, there is only one interpretation of A Course in Miracles. And again, that's the pure non-dual path.
I agree. I agree very much. As we both mentioned earlier, I think that is the difference between the happier dream and awakening from the dream.
Yeah.
And I'm all for a happier dream. If that's the best that you ever get out of it, that's pretty good. But not enough.
I agree. There's nothing wrong with a happy dream. A happy dream is good, but that's not what the course is for.
Right.
The course will take you home. It'll take you all the way home, and it'll do it quickly, quicker than anything else, I believe.
I always liken forgiveness. It actually has more in common with Zen, bringing you right to the moment where you have to let everything go, than anything else. More in common with Zen than it does with traditional Christianity and how we view forgiveness. We have another question from Kat, and we have one from Squirrel Sniper. Would you share one of the hardest lessons that you've gone through?
Look, I've been pretty fortunate that there haven't been too many hard or difficult lessons yet. I know that there will definitely be more to come. But I would say the most difficult is, again, before the course came into my life, and that was when my friend passed away on the motorbike. That would have been my dark night of the soul, my lowest point. Yeah. for sure.
And from Squirrel Sniper, he says, "What is the esoteric understanding of fear, and how is it undone?"
Well, according to the course, all fear is the fear of God. When we appear to separate and listen to the ego's lie, we basically projected all of our fear onto God, and then through projection denied that fear, repressed the fear, and now we believe the fear is outside. But the course teaches that all fear is of the mind, and all fear is the fear of God. So, in terms of undoing that fear, that's where forgiveness comes in. That's where the miracle happens, and little by little, one sort of miracle at a time, that fear will be undone.
For someone who is maybe, although I talk about the course every day, but you never know who pops in, and I love hearing different people describe what's the meaning of miracles according to A Course in Miracles, and can you give us a definition of forgiveness as seen through the lens of A Course in Miracles?
Sure. So, a miracle is a shift in perception from fear to love. That's what the course teaches. And sorry, what was the other question?
Forgiveness. Definition of forgiveness, and how do we practice forgiveness?
Okay, so forgiveness for me, I define forgiveness as a moment-to-moment decision to remember your brother's innocence. The big word for me is remember. So if I'm going about my day and all seems well, and then all of a sudden I find myself, in a bit of a hot mess. It's really about how quickly I can remember that I'm dreaming. That's it really. That's what I've boiled it down to. I've done a lot of sort of figuring out and almost like sort of jotting down how I can make this easy for myself. And I would say that remembering, it's the moment to moment remembering, that is really 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 easy for me. So yeah, I just want to define forgiveness. Of course, we know what forgiveness is, but I'm just going to open my course book 1 second. What is sin?
While you're looking real quick, I'm going to read a comment from Starseeker who said, "Projecting our fear into God. He's never heard it posed that way before. Food for thought, for sure. Thank you."
Cool. I'm going to read from. I'm going to read from the workbook, part 2, page 401. What is forgiveness? Forgiveness recognizes what you thought your brother did to you has not occurred. It does not pardon sins and make them real. It sees there was no sin, and in that view are all your sins forgiven. What is sin except a false idea about God's Son? Forgiveness merely sees its falsity and therefore lets it go. What then is free to take its place is now the will of God.
Beautiful thing. The language in the course, by the way, is just so beautiful throughout.
Unbelievable.
But when you talked about your definition of forgiveness and remembering the innocence. I hear that often, but it never fails to bring a smile to my face. And uh, the beauty of the practice, because we get to forgive ourselves for when we don't forgive. We get to, everything is here to be forgiven. But there's no, um, I remember when I first started meditating and I would judge my meditation. Was this a good one? Was this a bad one? Did I go
Mm.
deep enough? Did I go, and with the course, just practice forgiveness. That's it. And there's no good forgiveness or bad forgiveness. You just keep forgiving and forgiving and forgiving.
That's exactly right. And one of my favorite Ken quotes is a bad course student, a good course student is a bad course student who forgives himself.
Beautifully said.
So
So we got a heavier question here for you.
Yep.
And our friend Tiger King says, "So sad every day because my son dead. How can find happiness then?" That's his question for you. How can you find happiness after the passing of a loved one?
Well, firstly, I'm very sorry to hear about that. Um, but again, the process is exactly the same. So um, there is no order of difficulty in miracles. One is not harder or bigger than another. And if we can just remember that, we'll go a long way to undoing what we believe has happened. So, I mean, for me now, the way I look at um, my friend's death, the one back in March of 2017, I know it never happened. That's the way I look at it, and that's the way I see it, because I know that my friend, whose name was George, um, George George cannot die. George did not die, and that's what I've taken from that. So again, it's the moment to moment remembering. When we find ourselves um, in a rut, when the ego storm sort of moves through, and we make things difficult for ourselves. It's that moment to moment remembering that I like to come back to.
George is in the title of your book, right?
Correct. Yes, the title is Dear George.
Nice.
Yep.
Beautiful answer. Do you ever find it difficult to explain to people when they say, "What do you mean it didn't happen?" I have a scar, I have a memory, I have a whatever that certainly tells me that it did.
Yeah, that's the most difficult part. Um, it's certainly. I mean, I'll give you an example. About maybe 5 or 6 years ago, um, it hit me that nothing here was real, and I went into a 3-day depression. For 3 days, I'd never experienced anything like that in my life. I was so dark, um, and I actually asked for guidance. I said, "What is this? How long will this last?" And the answer I got was, "You'll be fine." And sure enough, after a few days, I was fine. But it's the ego's grip. What do you mean this isn't real? What do you mean this has never happened? Um, that's the hardest part to sort of understand and undo. But that's the ego's interpretation. You know, which goes back to the metaphysics of the course. That the tiny mad idea is not just an idea, but it's an absolute fact or a truth.
By the way, our friend Tiger King said, "Thank you so much. Mean the world to me," and asked me to tell you uh, how much that meant to him.
Thank you.
Um, we had Dove Fishman up a couple weeks ago, who um, is been practicing the course for 48 years, and he was reading the course again. I guess he was maybe 20 plus years into the journey, and he got clear guidance that to put the book away, that he didn't need, now it was to live it. But he said he thinks that, and it's a review, lesson 200 to 220, I believe, which is all a review of the previous lessons, I guess 180 to 200, would be if you meditated on that after having gone through the course, however many times you feel guided to, that alone would be enough. And what's repeated is, I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. And that really does sum up the metaphysics, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, absolutely. I personally I love that the section of the workbook actually. I think it's the most repeated lesson throughout the workbook. I'm not a body, I am free, for I'm still as God created me. Lesson 189, I feel the love of God within me now. Forget this world, forget this course, and come with wholly empty hands unto your God. So, of course, the course is pointing us into to a direction of living. Eventually, we want to become what this course is saying, I think. So, yeah, I totally understand that. Put the course down, put the book down. There is no course.
Right.
So,
and if we are a body, then we certainly have a right to mourn and be sad forever. If we are a body, then it's going to be impossible to forgive some things. If we are merely a body,
yeah, bodies don't forgive. Bodies don't forgive other bodies. That's forgiveness to destroy. It's always the mind. It's always the mind.
so if we're not a body, what are we?
We are minds. We are minds. Again, another of my favorite. I believe it's from the workbook. It's here somewhere. I'm just trying to find it. Lesson 158. Today I learned to give as I receive. What has been given you? The knowledge that you are a mind, in mind and purely mind, sinless forever, wholly unafraid, because you were created out of love. So minds can choose. It's the decision making mind that chooses. It's not the body. If we were bodies, we wouldn't be able to have that choice. So it's about remembering again the metaphysics of the course, which tells us that we are minds. We are decision making minds.
Our friend Environment says many meditations make a mistake of starting by identifying with the body and its aches and pains.
Yeah.
And of course, the course reverses that. Actually, in the introduction, that's the secret's right out of the bag, the very beginning.
Yep. Yeah.
We often say, the course is holographic. If you get one thing, you can get the entirety. Is there one little point in the course that you just love coming back to because it gives you the entirety of
it? Yes, it's my favorite line at the moment. It's my favorite line from the course, and it comes in the text in the section for "They have come," and that line is. The holiest of all the spots on earth is where an ancient hatred had become a present love. I think that summarizes the course, very well.
Very much. And it shows the potential of the course, yes. Individually and collectively.
Yep, absolutely. That one line, and it's not the only one. There are heaps. There are many one-liners in the course that just wow. Right. But for me, that's my favorite at the moment. It's beautiful, and that whole section is, it's really nice, really nice.
I always find as you said, at the moment, that something will be playing through my mind uh, for a length of time, and then as I read, another line leaps out, and now that's the
Yeah,
one.
yeah. I think that happens a lot, and the reason I said at the moment is because who knows, maybe in a year or two it'll be something else.
We have a friend that says, seems unhealthy to suggest death doesn't exist. Death is difficult to digest, but must be faced nonetheless.
It's very difficult to accept. It's the most difficult um, part of the course, and yes, to the ego that is very unhealthy. That is the most unhealthy. Um, but again, if we come back to the metaphysics of the course and what that says, um, then that's the absolute truth. There is no world.
It's also important to remember that the metaphysics lead us to experience, and experience is everything. Um,
Yep, yep, absolutely. Um, you know, do not let theology delay you. Seek only the experience. That's the whole point of the course.
uh, and really, almost through any meditative process, if you take it deep enough, you begin to see through the illusion of the body. Um, that you know, even on that basic level of meditation, when you start getting very quiet and you realize you're not your thoughts, and then you realize that you're actually observing the body, so you can't be the body. Um, that you are the awareness, you're the observer of that which is observed. Um, it's an interesting thing that our friend Estat had mentioned. The course is definitely not bypassing.
No, absolutely not. Ken, I come back to Ken a lot, and he always um, reiterates how important it is to look, look. I think the course mentions the word look, um, you know, over 500 times. So if we we're not asked to do much. All we're really asked to do is look at the ego with the Holy Spirit, without judgment, and that is forgiveness, basically. But um, definitely, the course is not a course in spiritual bypassing. Definitely not.
Um, and I think that we are. I think there's an abundance of spiritualities that do practice bypassing quite a bit. That, and I think the course could be used as bypassing, uh, but not if we're truly practicing it and studying the metaphysics, um, and truly practicing forgiveness, because forgiveness puts us head on with everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the bypassing is maybe more of the new age stuff that's sort of come out, and I know the course has been um, sort of put into the category of new age, but it's definitely not new age. Um, so yeah, looking is very important. It's the most important.
Um, Maybe the best way to explain it, and you referred to this earlier, uh, the uh, levels of confusion that uh, if we are I if we believe that we're bodies, then of course death is going to be a terrible, terrible, um, uh,
Experience.
true end. You know, the end of everything, the end of our relationship, the end of, um, as you said, a terrible experience. But that's only true if we're limited to a body.
Yeah, of course. Level confusion is, and I still struggle with level confusion myself. So it's the ego is very good at at making the world real, basically. So again, I think, and something Ken used to say a lot too. When you work with this course, when you work with this material, you can't. You always have to keep the metaphysics close by. So you can't let the metaphysics escape you, is what he used to say. Um, so again, it's coming back to the metaphysics and what the course is saying, and then being able to practice forgiveness. But in my opinion, you can't practice forgiveness unless you have the metaphysics with you. Forgiveness is in the course. We know it's not the same forgiveness. It's a metaphysical quantum type forgiveness. So remembering that will help you a lot with the confusion of levels.
So we've mentioned ego several times, and uh, probably one of the things that is talked about the most every day on my live streams. But I think that there's still sort of some confusion about it. That the that we are an ego, that we need to have a healthy ego, that or when we start understanding, maybe the first inclination that people have is, oh, so I have to eliminate, I have to fight, I have to go to battle with my ego. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I recall Gary used to. Gary says a lot that some people say that you should make friends with your ego, but that's not my experience. The ego wants you dead. Basically, the ego doesn't care about you. It only cares about itself. Its only interest is itself. It has no. It doesn't have eyes for anything else. So I definitely wouldn't recommend making friends with your ego or dressing it up, as the course says. Can you paint rosy lips on a skeleton? Um, the only thing you want to do with your ego is undo it.
And that is done how?
That is done through forgiveness, of course. Yeah.
I'm glad that you mentioned the spiritualizing the ego, because we can have very, very spiritual egos. We can believe that we are that we've reached a lofty place, um, and still very much be relating to the world through the lens of the ego.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, um, we perceive the world through the ego, basically. So it's very it's normal for us to see the world um, through the ego's lens, and definitely read the course through the ego's lens, which is what we all do. That's why I believe people like Ken, Arten, Purser, they help us interpret the course from outside of the dream. So yeah, it's definitely something that people and I do. I still struggle with certain aspects of the course, with understanding certain aspects of the course. Definitely.
Our friend Julie Burst. Do you know Julie?
I don't.
Definitely. I'll send you her link. You can connect on Facebook.
Cool.
She has one. She has a beautiful Facebook channel, and she does awesome course presentations, videos. She comes up. She does kind of once a month. I very much enjoy her company and her guidance.
Cool.
She has a question. Apologies if this has been covered, but can you talk about the role of meditation in your practice?
So meditation was something that I did a lot, especially towards the start of my spiritual journey. At the moment, I did meditate a little bit this morning. I know the course isn't huge on meditation. Throughout the workbook, we're asked to sit quietly, at different times of the day. But meditation doesn't undo the ego. That's my understanding anyway. So I would say forgiveness is definitely the most important aspect of undoing the ego. And meditation is great. It's it helps to quieten the mind, and it probably even makes forgiveness a little bit more easier, because we can, if we sit quietly and the mind is a bit quieter throughout the day, then it can definitely help with forgiveness.
I definitely agree. I'm actually a meditation teacher. Meditation has made me acutely aware of the ego,
Yeah.
but being acutely aware and having the means to deal with it can be two very, very different things. And in some ways, becoming acutely aware, uh, to put it bluntly, kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Because now not only is the world still a mess, but now you're starting to see that you're responsible for the mess, and you have no means of um, seeing through that. So
Yeah.
it's a wonderful thing, backtracking to non-duality, especially pure non-duality, um, is that a lot of times, I don't know if you ever watch videos, you've read any books of Neo-Advaita. Um,
Not a whole heap.
there is a lot of talk of, emptiness. There is a talk, people think that non-duality becomes a path of nihilism, but
Yeah.
the course empties you out. I think the first 50 lessons of the course almost strip you bare, but then it fills you up.
Mm.
That's the
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
That is the beautiful thing. The first few workbook lessons are some of them. Wow, like what is this? They're very basic, but um, they're a slap in the face. Nothing I see means anything. I have given everything I see all the meaning it has for me. So I do not understand anything I see. These workbooks, really slap you in the face, like you said.
Yeah.
They take everything away, but then they slowly, very slowly, bring you back.
Has there been a particular lesson or point in the course, in the lesson or the text, that really caused you a bit of a struggle?
Um, in the oh, in the beginning, I would say really understanding that there is no world. I think it's lesson 132, where it's really, really clear. Yeah, lesson 132. I loosed the world from all I thought it was, and there's a section in there. There is no world apart from what you wish, and herein lies your ultimate release. I know that was something that I really struggled with at the start. So I would say lesson 132 is a real slap in the face. It's really, really clear in that lesson what the world is, and what the world is not. It's a lesson. It's one of my. It has actually become one of my favorite lessons, and I always find myself quoting from lesson 132.
Sometimes those most difficult ones, they're difficult for a reason. It's funny that
Yeah,
that's become one of your favorite now.
it's one of my favorites. Yeah, it's just it's so straightforward. There is no world. This is the central thought the course attempts to teach. Not everyone is ready to accept it, and each one must go as far as he can let himself be led along the road to truth. He will return still and go farther, or perhaps step back a while and then return again. So, yeah.
We have another question. In what scenarios, if any, could the ego be beneficial to the practice of your Course in Miracles?
In what scenarios, if any, could the ego be beneficial? It's a good question. I'm not sure there is. What do you think?
I think the only benefit of the ego and the Course is recognition of the ego, so we can work through it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's you said it. That was really good.
The proof is if we look around, we might be having a good day, we might be having a good year, but ultimately, if we look around, and if we do the Siddhartha, when he finally got outside of his kingdom and he saw the suffering of the world, he saw people dying, he saw people starving. Ultimately, when we say this is what the ego created, so even if I'm having a good day or a year, or even if my own personal life has been blessed, you see the suffering, and the suffering's been caused by the collective belief of ego. There has to be a better way.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always another way of looking at the world, but you're right. This world is not of God. It's a projection of the ego, and that is something that Siddhartha realized, like we all will.
I mean, your own, bringing up a sad point, I apologize, but your own catalyst was one of loss.
Yep. Changed my life. Completely changed my life.
So we could say it was that the view of the ego that saw it as loss, but it was the view of the Holy Spirit that led you to discover that nothing true, nothing real.
That nothing happened.
Yeah.
That nothing happened. Yeah, and that's again, that's it's that moment to moment remembering that I sort of come back to. It's about remembering that throughout the day. Like you said, we can be having a good day, and then all of a sudden, um, you know, we're a mess. We're a mess.
Hey,
And
could you explain the two thought systems or two choices that we have?
Yeah, for sure. So there are two interpretations of anything. There are only two interpretations of anything that we see. One is the egos, and one is the Holy Spirits. One will keep you stuck here, and the other one will awaken you. Um, we know what the ego is about. Makes the world real, makes separation real, makes you a victim of the world. Um, and then on the other hand, there's the Holy Spirit's interpretation, and his answer is always the same. It's always the same answer. The Holy Spirit will always give you the same answer, and that is that nothing happened. The principle of the atonement is that the separation never occurred. It's just another way of saying nothing happened.
And we have that choice every moment.
Every moment. That's it. That's all it comes down to. It's that choice. 1,300 pages, 3 books, and really, it's just about one choice. That's it.
I love hearing it that we have uh, we can choose one or two things, but only one is real.
Yeah. Yeah.
At what point in the course did it start clicking for you?
Again, I come back to the disappearance of the universe. I can't tell you how many times I've read that book. I've got a hard copy, and I've got all books, obviously on hard copy, and I've also got all books, audiobooks online. So if I'm not reading them, I'm listening to them. For me personally, I prefer audio. I just think it's much easier. I can go for a walk and put it on. I can, while I'm driving in the car, I'll put it on, and it's like listening to two people have a conversation, which is basically what all the books are. So for me, it was Gary's 4 books, and then I started to move on to Ken. And once I moved on to Ken, I mean, I don't know how you feel, but Ken, for me, he will take you to places that no other course teacher will. He will take you. In my opinion, I mean, looking back at it now, the reason that Gary's books were so important to me is because I'm not sure I would have understood Ken's work before um, before Gary's. So um, I would say that once I started listening to Ken consistently, um, almost every day, basically, that's when I really started to get things on a deeper level. Um, he explained things so clearly, so well. The way he articulates it, and he's just blunt, and I like that. I like that about him. He just gave it straight. He didn't mince his words.
Um, Ken has been invaluable to me
Yeah,
for
yeah,
quite some time,
yeah,
and because he takes it very deep, and he takes it very practical.
yeah.
And as he says, uh, when he was asked his summary of the course, um, just try to be a little kinder. I
Mm,
love that he placed such a big emphasis on kindness, because the ego calls it that type of kindness. Um, you know, he wrote a wonderful book, Cast No One Out. And it was really about being kind to everything, being kind to your keyboard as you're typing, being kind to your fingernails as you're typing, just being kind, being kind, being kind. Because the ego says, why? Why am I
yeah,
doing this?
yeah,
And the Holy Spirit just does.
yeah.
We had a
Uh,
question. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was, yeah. You said the keyboard, and there was one that he mentions a lot is your toaster. You know, put your toast in the toaster in the morning, and the toaster doesn't work, and see how you react to that.
True, true.
Yeah.
Um, all right, we had a question. Unconditional love, forgiveness could endanger you within violent environments. Is this fair to yourself?
What was the last part of the question?
Um, I'll read the whole thing again.
Yeah. Go.
Unconditional love, forgiveness could endanger you within violent environments. Is this fair to yourself?
Yeah, I would agree. Absolutely. Yeah, I think there's a time and a place for forgiveness. Definitely. If you're in danger, get out of there. You know, don't sit there and call the Holy Spirit for help. Get out of there, get to safety, and forgive. You can always forgive later. So yeah, of course, there's a time and a place for forgiveness. Absolutely.
George Harrison found that out the hard way. He was attacked in his home,
Yeah.
and he was crying out. He didn't fight. He just kept crying out, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And his wife, being very practical, uh, got some kind of iron rod and beat the intruder
Yeah.
away until he left. So I'd like to
So
think that Krishna prompted his wife to grab a pole and chase the guy away.
yeah, that's crazy. It's perfect. It's a perfect example of there being a time and a place for sure.
Um, I think that it's a great question. I think it leads us back to level confusion again.
Yes, absolutely. There it is again. Yeah, for sure. Um, you know, and again,
Could you explain that a bit? And
Well, yeah, I come back to Ken, who, be normal. Be normal. Do the normal thing. If you're being attacked or you're in danger, do the normal thing. If the normal thing for you is to sit and fight because you know how to fight, maybe that's the normal thing. Do that. That's not the normal thing for me to do. I if I'm in danger, I find safety, and I can always forgive later. But the course definitely isn't encouraging us to um, you know tolerate certain behaviors. I think it's important that people understand that.
um, and also, I'm always a little dismayed when we talk about unconditional love and we leave ourselves out of the equation.
Yeah, we are so hard on ourselves, Eric. Um, if it were up to us, we would give ourselves, a big F. We are so hard on ourselves. Um, our own worst critic, I like to say, and I'm no different. I'm no different. So again, it comes back to being kind. You know, be kind to the toaster, be kind to the keyboard, because all kindness is for yourself at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, on the level of the body, level of form, we take care of form. We wake up, we chop, carry water.
Hmm.
On the level of the mind, uh, where everything ultimately takes place, uh, we practice love, we practice forgiveness, we practice kindness.
Yeah. A course in mind training. So everything is done at the level of the mind. There's nothing in this course about doing anything in the world. So again, it comes back to being normal, um, and then practicing the course at the level of the mind.
Um, we have a friend. He says, "What to do if someone doesn't like me, not physically or emotionally?"
What to do if someone doesn't like you physically or emotionally? Who cares?
What's that?
I said, who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, you can't, you're not going to be liked by everyone, you know, certainly not. I think that's unrealistic. Um, Everybody has their own opinion of everything in the world. So, um, all that matters is how you see yourself at the end of the day.
Um, yeah, that would be really one of the practical applications of practicing forgiveness, especially to ourselves, because we're
Yeah.
judging ourselves as being someone who isn't physically attractive, for someone who might not be emotionally attracted or attractive to someone.
Yep.
We let go of those judgments.
Yeah. That's it. Just let go of the judgment. That's just the ego's judgment.
S. Dot, who is the one who asked the question about safety, danger, said, "Seek safety, forgive later." I like that expression.
Yeah. Yeah. Very practical.
Kat says, "Great interview. Would love to see him back someday."
Sure. I'll come back.
Of course, people are so easy to talk to. I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
absolutely love it, and I always mention it. The big unconditional yes by virtually everyone that I've reached out to.
Yeah.
That I can tell that I mentioned my favorite prayer. I think so many people's favorite prayer. Um, I can tell that you truly live your life by that you are here to be truly helpful.
Yeah. It's a fantastic prayer. It's a beautiful prayer. Beautiful prayer.
Um, Here's a great statement, sort of statement question.
Yep.
Evan says, "You guys always talk about ego, but stated it doesn't exist."
Yeah, it doesn't exist in reality, but for us, we've certainly made the ego real in our experience. So always keep that in mind. You know, the course says that the separation never occurred, but you believe it did. So for you, it is real, and it does exist in your experience.
So we mentioned the metaphysics quite a few times. How could you sum up succinctly, and you can take succinctly however long you want, um, the metaphysics of A Course in Miracles?
Um, how would I sum it up succinctly? The metaphysics. If I could use two words to summarize the metaphysics, those two words would be that nothing happened. And I think once you understand that nothing happened, you understand A Course in Miracles.
Excuse me. Nothing happened.
Yeah, nothing happened.
So this is one of the important questions from from my channel. This guy has real deep insight and infinite wisdom sent from the cosmos. Such a blessing to have a refreshing view on things. But the most important question is, do you like mushy peas, Michael?
To be fair, I eat anything. I'm not very fussy with my food. I am plant based, so I like to take care of my health. It's something that I've been guided to in the last few years, but that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy you know all types of food. So, do I like mushy peas? Yes, yes.
I take an inordinate amount of abuse for my dislike of mushy peas.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Okay.
I try to be kind to them, though.
Yeah, of course.
So, what's it like for Michael on a daily basis as a Course in Miracles student teacher?
Um, so um, I'm a very early riser. So I was up this morning. So it's Saturday morning in my part of the world. It's just shy of 10 a.m. and I've been up since about 3:30, 4 a.m. So um, I woke up this morning and I spent about half an hour meditating, or I spent some time with God. Um, my day, I mean, my day looks like anybody else's day. I don't do anything different or anything special. I do what I have to do, what needs to be done. Um, but I try and do everything with the Holy Spirit. So I mean, it's what matters is not what we do; it's how we do it. I would say. You know, who are we doing it with? Are we doing it with the ego, or are we doing it with Jesus or the Holy Spirit? That's the important part.
It's such a quiet practice, isn't it?
It is. It's very very personal. I think at one point the course describes our journey to God as intensely personal, and I think that is a perfect explanation. You know, you don't have to preach A Course in Miracles to people who don't want to hear about it. Um, you know, it's a self-study course for a reason, because it's something that's done between you um, and the Holy Spirit. You know, um, revelation is intensely personal and cannot be meaningfully translated. That's from the text. So yeah.
It's funny how something that is all pervading in our lives, that relationship with the Holy Spirit, um, and how the longer we practice, the more that we consistently and continuously turn to it, and yet it is never like overtly discussed. We don't say to a cashier, "Hold on, I'm asking the Holy Spirit, should I pay with cash or credit?"
Mm.
Um, we don't ask the Holy Spirit for what kind of salad dressing we're going to use. Um, but it really is all pervading every aspect of our lives. But as you said, just a very, very quiet
It's
practice that we do.
you summed it up perfectly. That's you know it's all pervading, but it's intensely personal. That's how I see it.
Uh, Estat says, has distancing yourself from the ego made it any easier being an Arsenal fan?
That's a good question. Um, I love my Arsenal. I grew up playing soccer or football. So um, to be honest, the last few years as an Arsenal fan have been pretty tough, and there's been a lot of opportunities to forgive in there, and that's not me being cute or um, joking either. So I've watched Arsenal for 20 years, and there's been a lot of opportunities in there. So who knows? Maybe at the end of this coming season, uh, I'll have some fun.
Uh, I think your I think your smile was the perfect answer.
Yeah,
Before you
yeah,
said anything.
yeah.
Um, so you're a football fan?
Yeah, I am. I'm a big football fan. I played from about 5 years old until I was 28 in a um, semi-professional environment. So
Huh.
football is it's still a big part of my life. Yeah.
Our friend Tiger King uh, loves football. He's oops, not soccer, football. Oh, I've got football. Did I say soccer? No, someone in there said soccer. Um, I apologize if I
No,
said.
I'm in. I said soccer too. I'm in Australia. We call it soccer here.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Tiger King, what was your question about football that you had? As says, we're both Arsenal fans, and I agree. There's been many opportunities for to forgive.
Yeah, there's been a lot. There's been a heaps.
You know what? It does show, and like you said, you weren't even being cute about it. It does show forgiveness covers everything in our lives.
Everything. Like you said, it's all pervasive, and you know the the forgiveness that the course talks about is supposed to be applied to any situation. Whether it's something that you love, like sport, or your job. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference.
Environment said it's the only sport to see who can pretend to get hurt the best.
Yeah, I agree with that. Don't worry, I agree with that. It's gotten a lot softer over the years.
All right, Tiger King says, does he think Ariel will bottle the Premier League? Ask him.
I hope not. I've got my fingers crossed that we don't, but who knows? Who knows?
Any views on the World Cup being in the U.S.?
Yeah, super cool. Really, really, really cool. I think it's the first time since 1994.
Oh wow!
Yeah, when Brazil won the World Cup in 1994. So it should be good. It should be really good.
So I know very little about football, but I know the people will appreciate hearing your answer. Favorite player,
Uh, my favorite player is a
all
guy.
time.
Um, I'll give you two. I'll give you an Arsenal player, and then I'll give you my favorite, my overall favorite. So my favorite Arsenal player is a guy named Thierry Henry, and I think the best player or my favorite player outside of Arsenal is an Argentinian guy called Lionel Messi. Yeah.
That's going to very much please our football loving fans. And there's some passionate football lovers here, with the top of the list being Tiger King.
That's good. I'm glad.
Question from Nature's Dog Realm. What made you want to learn the Course in Miracles?
If I'm completely honest, if I knew what the course was saying before I picked it up, I probably wouldn't. I mean, I probably wouldn't have gone down that path. So, what made me want to become a student of the course? It was something that just happened naturally. It's not something that I chose. I don't know if that makes sense, but I would say that there is a part of me that loves this course and embraces everything that it says, and wants to hold it tight and close. But there's another part of me that wants absolutely nothing to do with it.
I've been there as well. I think many people first approaching the course are going to have a similar experience.
Yeah,
it's hard.
Absolutely. It's so hard. It's so hard. I like you said, it's a completely normal experience.
Our friend Chris, who asked that question, Nature's Dog Realm, has been studying the course, and I think you said you read Alan Cohen's book, Course in Miracles. Was it A Course in Miracles Made Easy? I believe
it's called A Course in Miracles Made Easy. Yeah. So I read that. That was actually the book that I believe I may have read that around the same time I read The Disappearance of the Universe. And I read it a couple of times, and it was good. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it.
She listened to that audiobook. So
the audio, yeah.
Any outside of Gary and Ken, what teachers do you resonate with the most?
For me personally, I've pretty much only listened to 3 teachers: Gary, Ken, and David. They're the 3 for me who have helped me the most.
We had David up 1 or 2 months ago.
Yeah.
A wonderful act of synchronicity. I have a good friend of mine. She comes up every Monday at 1:00, and we talk about all things course related. We just bounce things off of each other. And I had reached out to David maybe a week, 2 weeks beforehand, and I asked him if he could come up, and he said, "Sure, we'll work out a time." And my friend, her name is Miss Blipper, said she won't be able to make the live stream on Monday because she had family coming into town. And then just a little while later, I got a message from David who said, "How about Monday at 1:00?"
Yeah.
And it fit so synchronistically perfect.
It is perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
I think I have your information in the description. I think some people here in this live stream are going to be holding you up as one of their own important teachers. I honestly think that you are, no pun intended, or maybe pun intended, that you are definitely on course.
On course, yeah. That's beautiful. That's really good. I've enjoyed this. This has been good. And it's the first. This is the first live stream, first sort of whatever you want to call it. If you want to call it an interview, podcast, live stream. This is the first one I've done. So thank you, Eric. This has been really good.
You know what? I'd mentioned before, man, 1:00 when I did my previous live stream, I was miserable. I had to break away from the camera and blow my nose and sniff and hold in a sneeze. And I was like, man, I hope I'm going to be able to have a talk with Michael, because I was really looking forward to it. And someone said it'll happen the way it's supposed to happen. And it did, very much so.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good. I appreciate your time, and definitely come on back whenever you want.
I'll be back. Don't worry about that. I've really enjoyed it. It's been good. It's been really, really fun.
So, yep. Nature's Algorithm says this has been a great live stream. Kat says, I love the way he breaks things down. That was very helpful. S. Dot says, very enjoyable, guys. Great stream. Kat says, or Nature says, I agree, Kat. When do you have a hard date for your book release?
I'm hoping in the new year, January, February. I'm just getting it designed as we speak. So hopefully in the next couple of months.
So if not sooner, and again, it's an open invitation. Whenever you want, if you want to come up for half an hour to bounce something around, but let's definitely do a book release premiere when it comes out.
Okay.
Bring a copy of the book, and I'll order it.
Sure.
And we'll plug it away. Can you, before we go, a brief synopsis of your book, and also what you do with your one-on-one guiding sessions, if you'd like to cover that.
Okay, so the book is called Dear George, and the subtitle is A Practical Guide Through Heartbreak, Healing, and Divine Transformation. The book covers everything from the event and how that event unfolded and what happened to me in the months after. So it covers all of that, and then I get into A Course in Miracles. So the whole book is a practical guide through forgiveness, basically. Forgiveness is the main theme that runs throughout the book. There are 14 chapters, and they all flow very nicely from one to the other. I'll tell you what, I'll put if people want to check the book out, they can go onto my Facebook page and see my pinned post. So I'll do that now. And as for the one-on-one sessions, they're really, really easy. We can talk about anything you want, basically, what you're struggling with, what you need help with. They can be structured, they can be free-flowing. I can do a personal forgiveness plan for you. Whatever you want.
So guys, I think that you get a good feeling of how those plans and how the book is going to be just from the conversation with Michael. You get the sense of that you're a teacher who is on his way to becoming a teacher of teachers, to be honest with you.
If I learn my lessons, then of course, I mean, that's something that the course promises for everyone, I guess.
Well, here's what I get from you, Michael: sincerity.
Okay.
And I think sincerity takes you all the way, because you want to learn your lessons.
I do. Yeah, I do. I definitely do. For sure.
Is this the last lifetime for you?
I've had enough of this place.
That's what I was going to ask. Have you? Is this the last time? That last go around for you?
I don't know. I've got no idea, Eric. To be honest with you, it's not a question for me. I don't think. I'll just do what I know I'm here to do, and I'll let the rest take care of itself.
I like how in the Jesus and Buddha book, he was told, if you want this to be the last one, you can't make it that way.
You can make it that way. Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna let you go. I'm actually gonna go sneeze and blow my nose as soon as I step aside from the camera. I appreciate you very much, and guys, definitely reach out to Michael on his Facebook page.
Yeah, Facebook and Instagram. If you want to reach out, go for it. I'll pin something in the replay. I'll pin my my social medias in the replay.
Hey, one last quick question: have you ever thought about YouTube yourself?
Yeah, I think so. All in good time. I'll focus on the book first, and then we'll see what happens with YouTube.
Yep. Let me answer Danny real quick. He says, "Yogi, is his book on Amazon? It will be on Amazon.
It will be on it."
And he agrees with the host that we need to forgive everyone, one another.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, Michael, thank you again so much.
Thanks, Eric.
I will send you a link to this if you want to share it or anything. And are you open to doing others of these? Because I thought about mentioning to Dakini Wild that she would absolutely love having a conversation. She does the Miracles Cafe. She's in Australia, by the way, so you won't have to figure out the time difference.
Yeah, that would be good. That'd be really cool.
Awesome. All right, guys, thank you for joining us. Make sure you look up Michael on Facebook, Instagram. I will post when his book is released. I will post it. I'm going to be ordering a copy. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, Eric.
Take care, guys. I'll see you at 5 o'clock in the morning. By the way, that's why I knew that you woke up early, because you're one of the few people that shows up at my 5 a.m. live streams.
Yeah, I'm up there.
So I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.